Hello and Happy New Year. I'm glad you're watching. If you're new here, my name's Cade. My wife and I own a Ortho lab out in the country, and you can probably hear her ducks outside because they're very lively today. But hope everyone's having a good New Year. I'm in the lab today, like most people are, in the lab business, the Ortho lab business, I guess. But yeah, I'm just finishing up some stuff. I got some stuff here for us to work on. I got a thumb guard that I got to finish up on. Thumb guard, thumb crib, something like that. I have to replace the bands on this with new bands. So I got a little bit of that, and I got a regular holly retainer. So that's what we're doing today. Hope everyone out there had a good New Year's Eve and got to sleep in today, which I did. I got to sleep in. So, oh, Mahala, Happy New Year. Oh, Mike needs to be a little more loud. See, I'm messing with this, and it is, so it's like really loud in my streamer software, but then once it gets into my broadcasting software, it gets really quiet, and I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but let me see if I can boost some things here. Okay, all right. Oh, it's pointed the wrong way. I didn't realize that. Oh, that would help if I pointed it at me. There we go. Okay, maybe I don't know how to use this thing. Point that up higher. I guess that'll work. I don't know. It's pointed over my shoulder. Hopefully that helps and y'all can hear that. You can hear me better. But to everyone out there, happy 2025. I can't believe it's 2025 already. Hold on a second. I need to turn on a light. I think my face is probably too dark. So let me do that. You know, so I don't, you know, I'm having to wear my hat because I really need a haircut. So I'm wearing a hat. That way it covers up my hair. But then it puts a shadow on my face, so I need to turn on the light so y'all can actually see my face. But anyway, for those of you out there, I do have a, golly, that mic is just not, this is the wrong type of shirt to be wearing with a mic. I need like a collar shirt, and I didn't think about that ahead of time. But anyway, I'm glad it's working out now. Let's see, we have this thing, and let me see if I can adjust the lighting on this where it's a little bit better. There we go. I've already started the framework. So this is a thumb crib, and it is to prevent thumb sucking, and I've already started some of the framework on here, and I just fit some bands, and then I welded those bands on here, and I think I did a decent job welding these on here. I may or I may not solder this. I'll decide a little later. But I'm putting my paper towels down because the lighting is better. But yeah, this is a thumb guard. Again, I'm working on, you can see this is a thumb sucker. Almost a thumb works perfect in there. So we're going to try to prevent that. We're going to try to prevent that thumb contacting the roof of the mouth. It's a habit breaker appliance. And with a welder like mine, it actually is pretty easy to construct. So those of you out there watching, don't tell my doctors I'm working. I told them I was off today. So, you know, don't tell anybody I'm off today, but I'm doing a little bit of work. I worked for, and in fact, I just got a text from my ex-employer wishing me a happy new year, Yukari. And she always had this great saying that she would tell the doctor's offices, when you're off, we're off. You know, if your office is closed, we're closed. that helped them figure out, you know, when to set the due date, because it never did work out very well. What I'm doing right now is I'm just making a few adjustments. I think my weld, I did weld this side over here. I just got a single weld, but let's switch over to this one. Yeah. Turn my hat backwards, take my glasses off so I can look into my microphone, my binoculars. All right. No, that's set to chrome cobalt. I need stainless steel. There we go. So you know, I'm supposed to be working, or supposed to be off today, but you know, just doing a little bit of work here and there. And of course, you know, I need to do a little work while I talk to you guys out there. I got to tell you this, I'm subscribed to a person on YouTube that does prank calls. It's very hilarious. That's great. Those are great. I like the ones that scam the scammers. They do scam calls, or the scammers call them and then they say, hey, you know, and then they break into the scammer's computer and delete all their stuff and stuff. Oh, hey, bump the juice, Steve Czar. Happy New Year. I need to send you a link so you can join us. And tell us your New Year's resolutions for your lab. I don't have much as far as New Year's resolutions, except for I want to finish my wire bending course, which I'm doing that right after this live stream. I'm going to be filming some more episodes of that. All right, so I got some more 030 wire here. No, 036. That's what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna do like a hump on here. I can't believe, Steve, you're actually able to catch this live. I kept telling myself, okay, I'm going to go live on Sunday, and then I'm going to go live on Saturday, and then I'm going to live on Monday, and it just never did work out. So I thought, you know what, New Year, it'll be perfect to do a live stream. So I'm doing just a pretty simple little bump here. And I'm going to do 3 of these, one here, and one here, and one here. And what that's going to do is prevent them from getting suction with their finger in the roof of their mouth. So let me... Yep, there we go. I'm going to cut this about here. Maybe longer. I need a little bit of a handle. And then, oh, I don't turn on any of my stuff over here. I have a... Over here. Oh. My walkie-talkie is charging. Okay, you're charging. Hush up. So I have all my stuff here, and I have it on a power strip. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I do he does a I have a power strip. I just turn everything on with the power strip. It's been the best thing. Usually I'd turn off this thing, and then I turn off this thing, this and this, but now I just do it all at once. It's amazing what just one power strip will just save you a lot of time. Okay, I get it. Being out in the country, we have walkie-talkies. It seems to work better than cell phones. So we have one in the house, and so we can talk to our 8-year-old daughter and you know, ask her to do stuff or come here or check on her just to make sure everything's good inside the house while the wife and I are out here working. All right, so I'm going to tack this down. Again, for those that are watching, tuning in, Happy New Year. I'm just doing some spare cases. Little catch-up cases, I guess. The holidays are always weird scheduling wise. You never can tell, you know, I just can't predict what the offices do anymore. So I got this one wire going right down the midline here. I'm waxing it. I'm waiting for that wax to set up so it can hold its place. And then I'm gonna weld it. There we go. Is tacking the wire only to hold it in place, or is that the final weld? That's actually both. It's a tack, and it's one of the final welds. So I'll take this and then I'll put even more welds when I pulled it off the model. So I'm kind of tacking it together right now, and then I'm gonna put it, but it also is the final welds. But I do I'll tack one side, and then it's easier to break off that one weld. So it is a tack and a weld at the same time. So you're working too. Yep. All right, did you tell your offices, that you're off, but don't let them know that you're off? Oh, she goes by Sue Deal, and she had one lady rolling with madness as she was preaching the Lord to her. So funny. Oh, okay. She's like a televangelist. All right, so yeah, Moon. I'm checking the. Oh, that was not a good. That was terrible. Weld it. I mean, wax it better. I mean, I'm just get that right on that midline. Okay, so let's see if I can weld down in here. Deep down in here. I'm gonna take my glasses off again. Maybe I should just. I try to use my glasses with this, but it just doesn't. I can't work it very well. There we go. All right, we got that first tack weld, and I'm kind of checking it to make sure everything's in alignment. And then I'll tack this side. So I'll go through here, and I guess I'll tack all four, at least 4 times on each junction. Oh, so Moon, someone likes your car. Of course, you told you you're off today. Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing too. Dang right. Or she could be a Jehovah's Witness. She's acting like a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. So I only do 3 wires, and that's just what I've always done. There's so many different designs of these. I wonder if I can pull that up for y'all real quick. Actually, let me turn off all these other tabs. I have no idea how my internet's working. I think it's doing good. Okay, so thumb crib appliance for babies. Let's see, images. Amazing. You won't believe how much us lab technicians use Google. We, because sometimes in ortho, an appliance can be called something else, but you've made it before, but under a different name. So you can do stuff like this. Oh, I didn't share it. Add the stage. There we go. You can do stuff like this. See, there's all different designs. So I'm kind of doing something like this ODL one right here. Now this, I call this a tongue crib. These ones that are vertical, and they prevent the tongue from thrusting forward. But these thumb sucking appliances, it's kind of like this is what I'm making, but I'm making the crib come off of the pallet a little bit. Now I'm not doing anything crazy like this. I do have a video, if you look at thumb crib in my, I have one that's with spikes. I just came across that yesterday because I was looking to see if I did anything like this. So tongue or thumb crib. Now again, this is what I'm making right here. Who's this from? Orthodontist in Ohio. But this is kind of what I make, this design right here with the 3 bars, and they're kind of slightly off of the pallet so the thumb cannot contact the pallet. Oh, that's a nice little, and this is what I call a tongue crib. So they get a little, because they're more vertical and they hang down a little bit. But anyway, that's what I'm making right now. And how did you get into this job? Is this your company? I used to do this and I loved doing it, but never went solo to do on my own company. Wish I did. Oh, yeah, I do. If you go to my channel homepage, I guess is what you call it. I do have a video pin there, and it's the 5 ways of getting into ortho lab business. And I kind of go through the different pathways people go. But in high school, I started working for an orthodontist, and so that's how I got my start. And then I was an assistant all through college. I wanted to become a dentist. I was an assistant during the summers. I started getting into the lab work. Applied for lab school, had completely national average grades to get into lab school. So it was very difficult. I could have got in out of state of Texas. At that time, Texas was very competitive. But I found a local lab school. So I went to a lab school and learned everything. Dentures, crown and bridge, ortho, all that stuff. Then specialized in ortho, got my certified dental technician certificate, and opened my lab 2004. And since 2004, I've been either owned a lab or lab manager. So I've been solo, I've been recruited to take my lab and put it inside of Crown and Bridge lab and make an ortho department, build an ortho department in the Crown and Bridge lab. And then I went on to be a manager of a larger ortho lab in the Metroplex. And then I just decided to go out on my own. My daughter was born, and when I was leaving, she was asleep, and when I was coming back, she was already asleep. So I was missing a lot. Wife, she goes, you should open up your own lab. And I was like, let's do it. Let's reopen the lab. So that's how I got into this job. And that's where I'm at right now. We work from home. My building is like 70 steps from my house. We put it's like a tiny home, and that's what my lab is. I think you can get a good view here. Right here. And it's just a small little lab, like we put in a tiny home, and it's sitting out in the country. And that's what the wife and I do for a living. So I don't think we'd have it any other way. Is that an anterior open bite? Yes, thumb sucking causes an anterior open bite. So this will prevent the thumb sucking. If you stop the thumb sucking, everything should settle in. This person looks young enough to do that. So make sure that license is blurred out. Okay, don't bring any attention to it. That's amazing, man. I should look into it again. New year, new me. Yeah, maybe that's your new thing. When you say you worked in this, were you like a lab technician in a lab? Because I am creating, or that's one of my New Year's resolutions, is trying to create a like a online course for people who are interested in getting into this business. So I believe I didn't even put any links in the bottom, but check back later. I'll put links in this video, or you can check one of my other videos. There's links there to get in contact with me, so that well, anyway, I'm doing interviews to kind of interview people of what they would need if I did an online course on, you know, how to open up your own ortho lab, like I am right now, like Steve is in the chat. If y'all don't know, Steve has a ortho technician channel. Ortho technician channel. That's weird. Ortho lab channel like mine. So we've been friends for a long time. Because we do the same things and we go through the same things. Yes, the license plate was edited out. Oh, good. Oh, what is that? Prelude? No. NSX? No. I can't tell from your picture, Moon. Why do I want to say Prelude? Honda or something. Yeah, because the bones are still soft enough to pull the 1 and 2 down. Yeah, the 1s and 2. Oh, RSX. Okay, Acura RSX. See, I said NSX. I accidentally upgraded you to the NSX. I don't even know if they make the NSX anymore. Actually, one of my lab friends, when I went to lab school, which I just absolutely loved the lab school. We made really good friends. He got an RSX while he was in lab school. It was a really, really nice car. And he's a dentist now. He went on from the lab school, and I believe he went to New York to get his lab degree. I had another one I went to lab school with. He went to Notre Dame, I think, to get his... He got his undergrad from Notre Dame, then came and did lab school, and then did he go back? Did he go to Indiana? University of Indiana? I can't remember. It was up north though. Right now I'm just checking to make sure that this is fitting right. I'm trying to get the same level, the same height. And I don't know if y'all saw it, but I took my wheel here and I beveled this. So it fits a little snugger, a little snugly, a little, yeah, against there. So let me do a little tack down with the wax. So I usually go this one between the teeth, this one about middle of the central to the posterior or the distal of the central. And let me tack that down. I'm not sure if that's touching. If it's not, I'm gonna have to come back, and it is not. Let me look at it under microphone. Microscope. I said microphone twice. See, I'm out of practice doing these live streams. I can't talk. Well, I can't talk normally. Yeah, that's not touching at all. That's touching down there really good. So I'm going to pop this off. I need to put just a little bend, a little upward bend right here. Bend that up and then bend that back down. There we go. Now I believe it's touching everywhere. I just can't see it very well. There we go. Did that fall off? Dadgummit. It fell off. Yeah, NSX would be, wouldn't it be? Another guy went to lab school with his friend, had an NSX. It was early 2000s. It was a yellow one. It was awesome looking. I never got to ride in it, but I was jealous. He owned like some restaurants in Houston and stuff. So, yeah, more snug. That's a good way of putting that. Take care, y'all. Happy New Year, Moon. Thanks for dropping by. Sometimes you have to do it by feel. Okay, yeah. I mean, I've known a lot of lab guys that start losing not losing their eyesight, just old man eyes, like I'm getting, and you'd be amazed how much you do by feel. I like the sticky wax, but it kind of becomes a slight pain. I'm just getting the perfect position, the perfect angle, everything to try to get it perfect, like I'm, saying. So I might just get a nice tack on here on the bottom just to hold it, like Moon was saying. I wish I could get a camera angle through what I see in the glasses here, in the binoculars. See, I'm trying to say microscope again. Soon I'm going to say telescope. Alright, now the third and final one. And then we can pop this thing off and do some final welds on the whole thing. I may not even weld this back here. I think I got a pretty good job welding that. But I'm going to flatten that. Now I'm making sure it's the same height. I don't like one of these being, if anything's gonna be taller, hopefully the middle one. But if one of the side ones is taller, it bothers me to death. So then I gotta look at it at different angles, make sure I'm sure there's an easier way to build these, but this is just the way I like to do it. Alright, so now I got my angle. See that curve I'm putting on there? Just, just so that what I've been told is it's that suction that they make in the roof of their mouth with their tongue that they're addicted to. That's the soothing part. And if you can break that suction that they have with the tongue with the roof of their mouth, they can they can break the habit. It's not as comforting to them. So let me cut this a little short. Also, you get, when you're losing your eyesight, you get to where you need a lot of light. So if you watch my old videos, I didn't have glasses till maybe 3 years ago, and I was using like readers, magnified ones that old people would get so they could read the newspaper. All right, I'm happy with that. Looks like they're even though you got all these spikes coming off of it. Okay, so back to here. Let's get a tack on the bottom here, and I think we can take this whole thing off and just do some final welds all the way around. There we go. And I don't know if this will be a better camera to show the welds. No, it's not. It's trying. Yeah, maybe this camera. So you can see all my wax melting and stuff. So let's pop this off, and we'll do some final welds, and that pretty much be it for this appliance. I mean, what I will do later on is sand the inside of these bands, and these bands were kind of supplied by the doctor. They give me a band, one of their band kits, and so in fact I got to follow up. I sent a picture. I was needing some more bands. I'm running out of certain sizes for them, but sometimes they can fit bands in the mouth, and since this is digital, they're not shipping me anything, so they can't ship me those bands. But if they ship me a kit of their bands, like size 1 through 36, you know, there's 4 or 5 in each size, they can just say in the prescription, the digital prescription that this is scans attached to, they can say, hey, it's band size 14 or 13 or whatever, and so I can just pull from there. But most of the time they're just like, just fit our bands the best you can. Which that's the next thing we're working on. So I don't want to leave these spikes, obviously, so I'm going to cut them short. And I haven't even welded the front yet. And I'm going to cut these. And cut this. See, coming together. So let me finish some welding, and I will be over here. So I try to do each side of the wire, and then underneath it and on top of it. And that usually I feel pretty secure about that. So I just did each side of that before I took it off the model, and then I'm doing the underneath side that I couldn't get to. Come on. What's going on? There we go. That was weird. Okay, so I couldn't get to the underneath side because it was obviously on the model. I gotta get a better angle. I did a decent job here. Yeah, I've been getting a lot more brave with not having to solder that part. If I think I can grind it a little bit and get it smooth, then I usually don't solder it. And I think if it doesn't flex very much, which this doesn't flex as much. Okay, so let me do the inside of the bottom here. Come on. All right, I got to get a sharper tip. That is the bad thing about these pulse welders is you have to sharpen these things, and I got a little sharpener here. Pretty much just a diamond disc. Just sharpen that up a bit. Just makes the welds go by so much better. Makes the welds better. So yeah, while it's off the model, that's when I get the underneath part. Usually I get most of the other part pretty good. Under here too. I think I got that. So now I can weld here and here. See, I wasn't able to get underneath that while it was on the model. So let me get each side now. That side. This side. And I already did both sides of that middle one. Then this side. So I'll get about 3 or 4 weld points on each intersection of wire. Get up underneath the cage. Sometimes these are a little tricky because you can't get the right angle. I do need to look into a laser welder, I think. Having 2 of these is nice to have. So let me grind on this a little bit. And I'm just going to smooth. I don't want these spikes. Again, I've made them with spikes before. And that is, you know, I've probably made one of these without spikes and the kid still figures out how to suck their thumb. So I'm just kind of, you know, grinding these flat, make them smooth to the touch, to the tongue also, because I can't even imagine this being in the mouth. And then I'm going to smooth the little joints here. Have a little tail on this one I need to take off. And then sometimes I'll go back and do a little bit more on those grind spots I just ground, and it helps just to smooth them over. Otherwise, you know, you could pumice or rubber wheel it or something. But I tend to find that the doing a little bit of a weld job tends to smooth it out. So that's the amazing thing. That's it. I made this whole thing. I didn't have to leave my bench, which is nice. So let's look at this off of here. Now, one thing you do need to be careful of is doing a lot of welds. This thing will start shrinking up. So you have to kind of be careful that it doesn't shrink up. But you can see there's just a slight little a curve to it. So this did shrink up just a bit. So I'll have to stretch it out. I'll probably do that in QC. But you can see when they put their thumb here, they can't create suction. And their thumb's gonna be smaller than my big old thumb. But you know, that's gonna prevent thumb sucking. And it's more humane. Now, they gotta be careful. I only put 3 bars here because for hygiene reasons, so they can clean out easier. So if they eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it's easier to, you know, water pick all the food out from underneath there. You need to sharpen it. Yep. Feliz Año Nuevo. Happy New Year's. Hello from Peru. Oh, very cool. Yoel. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Mr. Ruiz. Nice to see you watching from Peru. That's awesome. So we just did I finished up doing a thumb sucking appliance, and the next is, again, we're doing a New Year's kind of thing here, where I'm just working a little bit to, you know, finish up some stuff, get ready for everything's going to start on the 2nd. I got a big load coming on the 2nd, so I have a bunch here that we are working on. My towel has gotten a little dirty. Let me clean that up a bit. So this I had already made. So it is, but I had to fit bands, and I fit them too small. I'm about 80–90% accurate on these, but this is kind of what I had to deal with. You can see this tooth is still erupting. There's not much to go on. I drew the line where the, it's kind of blurry, but I drew where the gum line is so you can see that better. Now I've already ground this one, and I've fit a band they provided. So that was the great thing that they did, was they said, hey Cade, the one you did, the bands are too small. So we went ahead and fit bands. So these have been fit on the mouth of the patient. We know 100% that it fits the mouth. So now what I'm going to do is transfer this screw over to this model. So they printed their own model too. So this one is the model I printed. They started printing their own models, which is fine. Saves me some time and money. But now I'm going to fit this other band on here. So I'm just going to grind. I'm holding my breath. Usually I do this under suction. I actually will blow a little bit with my mouth to keep it away from my mouth. Or you can get a mask. It'd be a smart thing to do, but I didn't grab a mask. So it looks like I'm being kind of rough, probably. There's two reasons for that. One is, yeah, I'm kind of being a little bit of rough. There's a lot of digging to do in this to remove the gums so this band will fit. Because it is a pretty tight fit. So I did go small. I just went too small. Wait, I think it was too small. Let's see. Tried original 3-print line, sent bands pay. Bands were fitted too small. Okay, original model attached. Please remake RPE. Bands fitted and attached. Yep. So let's put that back on here. That needs a little bit more grinding. I like this. This is just a ball, like a ball burr. I guess some people call it a half round. Because the shaft part I can just run along the tooth here, and this part digs underneath the gums. Now if I was fitting bands, I'd be way more gentler, more precise with this. But since I know that these bands fit 100% in the patient's mouth, I know they're gonna fit. I just gotta, you can't be too crazy because you'll get it, wobbly or something. So I have those ready to go. I do need to grind off those attachments. So let me do that. There we go. All right, so that is ready for the screw, but the screw is still on these bands. We got to remove these bands. So I'm going to show you what I do. I don't want to have to. One option is, hey, just totally redo the whole thing, and you can, but I know this will fit the roof of this mouth. It's already bent there. I just need to remove the bands. I'm not going to worry about these are easy to bend enough, but I don't want to make a whole new screw. So what I'm going to do is, these have been laser welded and then soldered over the top So I know they're laser welded to the band. So there's no way of, if this was just pure solder, I could probably just, and I've done this before, you just take a torch like this, and you would heat up, and I could remove this solder by just heating up the solder again, and it would drip off. But since it's been welded to the band won't fall off. If it was just pure solder, the bands would fall off, the wire won't fall off. Clean those up, you can reuse them all again. But this one, it's welded. I'm gonna have to destroy those bands to get it off, to get the RPE off those bands. So let me get a little bowl of water. Let's see. Michaela, I went to my sister's grave yesterday. It was her birthday. My dad told a memory. It always makes him cry. He said when the gravesite was fresh with dirt, he said his wife laid on the mound of. Oh man, that's sad. Now I can picture in my mind my mom doing that. Yeah, that's rough. I'm glad you went to go visit her grave, because I'm sure she would appreciate that. On her, so her birthday was the day before New Year's. The last day of the year is her birthday. How would you like to wait all year for your birthday? Yeah, let me get I'm gonna go and get a small bottle of water. I do need to drink some water. I'm getting a little bowl of water, because when you get to grinding on metal, it gets really hot, and I'm about to make a mess. But what I do is I get a little, there's some burn spots in this bowl. I get a little bowl of water like this, just to cool down my fingers and this thing. I'm going to grab a cutting disc. This will make the first major cut, and I'm going to cut the band off. Just like that. And then I will cut this side. I'm not supporting that enough. I'm not liking that. Come on. Now, the thing is, this thing will obviously cut into your finger. So I'm just letting it do the cutting. I'm not pushing. I'm just kind of letting it do all the cutting. So we just need to clean that off now. I'm going to dip this in the water so I can grab it. It's still a little warm. See that kind of grab it? All right, so then do this other side. Add a little support to my finger here. Again, I'm just letting that diamond wheel do its job. There we go. So that we don't have to worry about. We can throw that away. Now I'm going to switch over to this Mizzy heatless wheel, which I have been having issues with. It spins on me, so I'm going to try to tighten this a little bit. Sometimes these screws don't. Oh no, it's pretty tight. Maybe it's spinning in the shaft. So now I just grind this flush. If you listen, I don't know if you can hear it. When I dip it in the water, you can hear it go ch. So it does get pretty hot. So now we're back to the original RPE. So That was it after we cut the bands off, and then this is after we've cleaned it up. You see all those metal flakes in the water? Actually, I think I need to get a new mandrel. I think it's spinning. I think it's worn out. So this mandrel, I can keep using this metal shaft part, and I just replace this. Ooh, that's hot. And I can just replace this wheel as the wheel wears out. That was hot. See, I'm not forgetting to dip it in there. So, it's always nice to have a little bowl of water. And there is my reclaimed RPE. Now, did they open it? Nope, does not look like they opened it. This should just drop into place, and it does. So, we don't need this model anymore. That can go back in the case. And then, bring back this thing. It's my niece's birthday today. She's 16 years old. Well, good. My son turned 15. My middle son turned 15 in October. So it's weird having a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old in the house. So, yeah. Have you ever heard of a cello piece called The Swan? It's beautiful. Always makes me cry when I hear it. Oh, that really does sound familiar. I bet you if I hear it, I'll recognize it. For sure. Bro, you're saying I probably shouldn't play it during the live stream. Okay, so we're going to rebuild those lingual arms. And I use 040 because that's kind of a long span. Usually metal appliances I use 036. So I use 040 for these long spans because, well, they're long and they bend a lot, so a stiffer wire usually helps. But I didn't mind cutting these off. These usually do not take too long. These are pretty decent appliances for beginner wire benders. Except for bending the arms of the RPE, that might be a challenge because they get kind of, they're pretty stiff. Okay. So, I still have not found, so I still solder these after I weld them. I haven't found a good way of attaching both this arm and the RPE arm to the band. Just this, if I was just doing this without an RPE arm, I would do it without solder. But that's just, you know, me. The RPE arm, they're just so thick compared to the other wires. It's hard to do that. I'm looking into creating maybe like a little block I can attach on there. Got to look into maybe patenting it. A little block I can attach first, and then, you know, it slots in the RPE arm and it slots in the lingual arm. Bend that back out. I don't try to contour this too much. Kind of leave it vague. I'll make this upper bend. Okay. So, little sticky wax, and then we're gonna get under the binoculars. Binoculars, well, that's what I'm trying to say. No, microscope. Welder. And weld these on first, and then what I do is I weld the wire to that. It's a ballet piece. Oh, okay, that might be why I've kind of heard of it. Is that 03? This is 040 wire. So yeah, 040 wire. All right, so let's. Actually, I need to do a new tip on here. Actually, let me just. I have a bucket of them. You can't see right here. I need to go through and resharpen it. I need to have one of my sons. I need to pay one of my sons to come in once a day. It's probably good to resharpen these once a day, depending on how much you use this. What in the world? Oh, this is double-ended. I've sharpened both ends. Is this the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. So I'm going to bring the power down to the lowest setting on my welder, and then just run on the double checking the position. Make sure it didn't move on me while I wasn't paying attention. Come on. Yep, there we go. It's usually once you get that first weld where it connects the band to the wire, it throws that metal or blends that metal together. Once you get that very first weld, you can usually build off of that and just make you a nice bead going across the whole wire. And well, come on. Well, I think I got enough. So, turned out decent. Get my glasses back on so I can see. And we are right at the hour mark, so it doesn't look like I'm gonna get to that retainer, but that's okay. I didn't know how busy I would be. So then I drop this into place. I'm gonna use a little bit of this stuff. It was recommended to me. Mortite. A little bit of Mortite, which is window caulking, weather stripping caulking cord. Don't worry, it doesn't go into the appliance. It's just to hold the appliance together while you. So yeah, that was recommended by one of the viewers, and I got that. I remember back in the day they using these, the Mortite. Just to see how it holds it. If I can shake it and it doesn't move. And that's one good thing about reusing this RPE is it's already bent to where you want it. So that saves that. Let's see if I can just go ahead and tack this on real quick without further ado. I'm going to boost this to the highest setting, because I'm going big thick wire to big thick wire. Yep, I got it to weld. Let me see if I can get the other side. Yep, it does have just a little bit of solder around it, so it's kind of messing up my weld, but I think I'm getting it. Okay, we got the new screw, the old screw on the new model with the new bands. Now, what I would normally do is weld this. What I normally do, I'd always solder this, but something I've been doing recently that I've been liking is, let me get this off. This is the only tricky part of doing it like this. You got it all tacked, weld it together. I like to get these band remover pliers, and these are the same ones you would remove this out of the mouth after it's been cemented in. So what I'm trying to do is pull this off parallel without torquing these. See how I'm kind of bending this up? There it goes. There we go. One thing I've been liking to do is cut these where I've bent a little handle for myself. I'll cut them like that. You know, I could shape them. You know, make them rounded, but I go underneath here again, and I have it still on the high setting. I'll take the wire and I'll just do the end of it like this, almost like, and it just makes that perfectly round and smooth. It's just neat. I did not come up with this. This was actually an idea. I feel like Steve Zara gave me this idea for making ball clasps with your laser welder. But, oh, that's wrong. So it's nice and smooth to the touch. It's got a little ball clasp look to it. But I'm gonna stop there. I'm not gonna solder this. Y'all have seen me solder a lot. You can go back and view some other things, but the big thing I wanted to show was how to remove old bands off, recover the RPE screw to put it on the new model with the new bands. But generally I have a little, it's been a few days because of the holidays since I've soldered, so this is all dried out, but I have a little metal dish here. Metal because I'm flaming, but there's dried heat shield in here. What I would do is put brand new heat shield in here, and then I would impress this into the heat shield to protect the screw. And then I take my this thing, and I have, see, I got to refill all this stuff. That's why I'm not soldering. I got to re-prep everything. I refill this up with heat shield, and then I squirt it into the bands, inside the band holes to protect the band, and then anywhere else I need to protect. And then I'll just do a little bit of light soldering, and then that's it. If I was using that dang weld, I would throw up my hands. Hey, the welder is frustrating for a lot of new users, so I probably need to put together like especially I'm using a Lampert Puck D5. And let's see if I put this in the view. So it's a Lampert, it's a Puck D5. This, I'm using a stainless steel setting. This is the setting I'm using for welding big wires to big wires. Anything I weld to a band, I use this setting. And so I might need to put together a video on how to use your Lampert Puck D5 for those out there that are using it. But the biggest tips I can give you on this is sharpen your electrodes. Always start with sharp electrodes, especially when you're going a wire to a band. Not necessarily big wire to big wire. You don't have to really do that, but you know, any tips would have helped me when I started. And yeah, there's been many times I was frustrated. Anyway, hey, I'm going to end it there. Thank y'all for watching. Happy New Year to everybody out there. If you have any questions about this, leave them. Those that are watching the recording later, leave them in the description below. Maybe that helped. I don't know if I've done. I think I've done a tongue crib before, but I don't know if I've ever showed you on a welder, if I've ever done it. And then we did a replacement RPE, replacing the bands on an RPE, and that took the full hour. Of course, I was talking with y'all, so that was great. But yeah, we hit our hour. Thank y'all for watching, and we're gonna keep this up. Again, I'll go live every almost said Tuesday, Sunday afternoon. So if you're interested in watching this kind of stuff, I'd love to have you join me live. So subscribe and then click that notification bell, and it will let you know whenever I set the newest live stream. So I'll go live around Sunday at 5 p.m. So while you're sitting at home enjoying your time off from work, you can join me while I work. Yay. So with that being said, check for those links down below if you're interested in learning more about any online courses I'm putting on in the future. And that's my New Year's resolution. I want to get those out this year for those that want to start their career in the ortho lab world and be like me and my wife and have our little lab out in the country with our ducks and chickens and rooster outside while we work. We wouldn't have it any other way, and it's always hard around the holidays, but it makes it easy because I can just come in here and work when I need to. But I'm dragging this on too long. Anyway, without further ado, I'll see you next week in the new year. It already is the new year. The first live, this will be the second live stream. You get it, all right? It's the continuation of the live stream in the new year. And until then, happy bending.